Good morning, greetings, welcome to 5 Play Friday live here from the Better Official World Headquarters in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. We are what? Super excited to get to the show today. We've got some plays. You know, we don't like stuff happening in our game, hard fouls, technical fouls, fighting situations, but they can happen in our game, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. And I will share with you a personal story from this week where I had a fight in my game. First time it has been a fight scenario to this level. And we did some things well and we did some things not so well, proving that it's a lot easier to evaluate situations on video than when they happen in your game and there's chaos in your game. So we'll be doing that in just a minute, but let's see who's in the stream today. Joe Rasa from St. Louis. Looks like he has a backcourt play involved to talk about. We'll look at that in a second. Leitner's in the house. Chris Janish from Sioux Falls. Good to see you, Chris. And Dakota Ted. Happy Friday to you. Patrick Weaver rubbing it in. It was a great game. Steph, not so great down the stretch. Celtics, modified their defense a little bit. Thought it was well officiated. Warriors got a break on an out-of-bounds call late. But yes, the Celtics held home court, beating the Golden State Warriors, erasing the drubbing that the Warriors gave the Celtics in the previous game this season. And then, of course, there's Steph. Come on now. But, yes, you've got us, Patrick, on that one. Absolutely. Jason Hayes from Washington, Missouri. Good to see you, Jason. And the Miggity Mac is in the house. Excellent. Mark Asmussen with his correct user ID. I'm going to modify this slightly. Put that there. And Mike Goodwin from the frozen tundra. Alaska's not tundra, is it? Well, I mean, certainly parts are. You can't have tundra when it's mountainous, right? Do those things go together? And so I created this thing with my Stream Deck to automatically produce these comments, but it doesn't work until today. I don't know why. I do not know why. Doug Stacy in the house, Northwest Indiana. Chad Metzger from Omaha. I think that's in Nebraska. But then my geography knowledge is questionable. Mike Connors, no taunt. No weather-related taunting from Mike today. That's appreciated. Well, actually, we had a really lovely day in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area yesterday. Greg Becker's got varsity boys tonight. I have a collegiate game. But I did have varsity boys the other night, and that's when our fight occurred. Ashley McFadden. Hello, Ashley. Good to see you in the chat. Let us know where you officiate, where you are from in the beautiful country of the United States or from beyond. Are we doing FIBA? Are we doing FIBA today? Randy Wilson, is that official? Come on, man. The kids are just having fun out there, ref. Come on. You can thank Jordan Poole for that, Mark. Gene Boglin from Boston. Malden. Do not know where that is. I don't know. In the greater Boston area. Good to see you, Gene. Ashton Dillon in the house. Thomas Hennian from Virginia. Excellent. Todd making an appearance. We'll have some opinions about our plays, I'm sure. So that is the situation in the Warriors-Celtics game last night. Ball went out of bounds on the Leeds end line. Lead immediately appealed to both officials. Neither official had knowledge. They went to a jump ball scenario. If that happens in our high school game, of course, many officials are eager to, we have to have a decision one way or another. We can't have we don't know, so we're going to go to the held ball. Except that is what is prescribed by rule. If both officials are blocked on a ball going out of bounds and we use the possession arrow, does the arrow after inbound refer to the other team? And do I let the table know? Well, in a held ball situation, we want to be very clear. This is a held ball, right? The resulting throw-in is a held ball throw-in. It's an alternating possession throw-in. And be very clear. And, of course, the arrow switches to the opposing team when the throw-in ends. When does a throw-in end? Right? We got to know that as basketball officials. Throw-in ends when it is legally touched in bounds, when the throwing team violates, or when the ball becomes dead. I think. So if the throw-in legally ends, meaning that there's no foul during the throw-in, there's no violation by the opponent, such as a kick ball, which prevents the clock from legally starting, the legal touching, then the possession arrow would switch, and we would want to manage the possession arrow, ensure that it was switched at the table. So I don't think we need to be highly communicative in advance. We have a held ball. The arrow says we're going to white. We have a throw in for white. When the throw in ends, we want to make sure that it would switch to the visitors and communicate after the fact if it had not. So I'd say that. Unlike the kicked ball scenario or a foul during an alternating possession throw-in, then we're going to have to be proactive. This is no longer an AP throw-in. The arrow will remain unchanged, etc. So we want to be proactive in that instance, I'd say. Snowy in Upper Michigan. The Warriors showed fight. It was a great game. It was a great NBA game, right? Both teams. But Celtics were not playing well until late, and then they were playing very well. That's what I found. There you go. There you go. Well, that'll be for the after hours show, Zooch. Excellent. Ashley again. Yeah. What can I say, man? What can I say? Oy, Ashton, that's too much. That is too much. Too much. Hey, Adam, good to see you. We are up bright and early. Ashley is from Houston, Texas. Excellent. Do you know the notorious Sylvia Bigot? SMB? Yeah. Awesome. Indeed. Oh, wait, Houston's showing up. Gail, good to see you. Excellent. Okay. So, as a prelude, Rick Watson's here, Nate Luther. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, I had a boys' high school game the other night. We have, it's a league game, rivalry adjacent. Great first half, very competitive. Home team probably had a 2-point lead at halftime. We are appreciating the game. It's well played, etc. Everything's going great, of course. And then the third period, home team just they got it going, right? They a lot of failures on rebounding, putbacks, easy stuff. They win the quarter like 20-4. Really put it on them. And then we start the fourth period, and now the visitors are down. We have a player who is on our radar, Red 24. He's our problem player. We just have to be aware of what's going on around him. He's exhibiting all the signs of frustration, etc. But we have a held ball, a ball on the floor, loose ball. There's 4 players on the floor. We're closing down. We understand it's an incendiary situation, but it just goes off, right? Players start pushing and shoving. It goes away from me. A player comes in my direction. I'm the trail on the play. Player comes in my direction, pushes the opponent. I've got a player technical there, but the sort of the fighting action is away from me towards my lead. There's administrators sort of coming out of the stands. It's pretty stands adjacent. But I'm in step back mode. I'm observing the benches. I see the white bench. It is completely empty. I see the red bench. I see players who are, a couple of feet onto the floor, but they are staying in the bench area. I've got an assistant coach from red who comes by and says, "You fucking suck," right? "It's your fault," right? Flagrant technical on him. And Now we are left with, oh my gosh, what do we have? What do we have? Right? We're takes a bit. There's lots of administrators involved, so things settle. They get people back in the stands, etc. Go to my crew and say, all right, now we have to do a debrief because I do not have the fighting action itself. I was separated from it early and then in stand back mode. So what do we have? And my partner has red 24 and white 1 fighting. I've got everybody on the white bench left the bench. Nobody from the red bench that I perceived. I've got a flagrant technical on an assistant coach. I've got a technical on a white player. Right? What are we going to do? How's this all going to play out? Right? There's a great. Everybody wants to offer energy. Coaches, assistant coaches, they did this. They, et cetera, et cetera. Administrators, people at the table, they all left the bench. No, they all left the bench, et cetera. So information is just coming at you fast. We get together in the middle of the court. We figure out what we're going to do, right? And that's what we ended up with. We had 2 players fighting. White technical foul, dead ball technical, flagrant technical foul on the assistant coach for red. How are we going to administer this situation? Oh, and plus, all players from white left the bench, flagrant technical fouls on them. How are we going to adjudicate this game? How are we going to resume this game? How are we going to figure out all of the things? The fog of the situation really comes into play. So what we did, right? So first of all, who left the bench? Who are we assessing flagrant technicals to, right? Do we know who was in? So we go through sort of an embarrassing process of having the players who were in the game to step onto the court to see who's left. And then we can identify it's 25 and it's 23 and it's 11 and it's 4 and it's 2. Those players are all disqualified by rule. Our players who were fighting were disqualified by rule. Those fighting dead ball technicals offset. But then we have a player technical on white, and we have a flagrant technical by the assistant coach. We should have shot free throws for each of those. In the fog, I said those offset, and we will not shoot free throws as a result. I've got nobody leaving the bench for the red team. I have players leaving the bench for the home team. So as a result, there will be administration of 1 technical foul related to those 2 elements. And so red would shoot 2 and it'd be red division line throw in opposite the table. But needless to say, it took a lot of communication, right? So immediately I go to the table and I ask, my scorer is kind of overwhelmed. She's not that person who's dominating their role. Let's put it that way. So I ask my timer, I say, because she has a pad of paper, will you write down this information for me? Because I'm going to have to do a game report, etc. All of the things. So I need to dump information out, right? All the player numbers who were disqualified, the fighting players who were disqualified, assistant coach, etc., to help me. And in the end, so now white is left there. They have 4 players since one of their players was disqualified. So we're going 4 against 5, and they have at this point like an 18-point lead, and they're holding their own. But red's whittling away. Ultimately, we had a player on white foul out. Now it's 5-on-3, and now things are really ratcheting up. Red's making a comeback, etc. And in the end, we have red missing a possible game-tying 3, and white wins the game. And we are out of there. But I can tell you, there were several mistakes I made, and I can recount those. One is I got a lot of information from one partner. I did not prompt the other partner for information. What do you have? Right? He was willing to just let us sort it out. I should have gotten, what do you have? Right? Do you have anything we haven't discussed, etc.? I think in this situation, you just have to go to the scorekeeper and say, this is going to be, we're going to take some time here, but I've got a disqualifying player technical foul on this player on the bench, right? Add it to the team fouls. I have a go through each and every foul, make sure it is properly recorded in the book. I did not do that. I sort of felt that my downloading of the information to the table about each of the, I was not precise enough. Both teams, head coaches, lose their privilege to stand and coach their team. The home team, because bench technical against players, but also the assistant coach receiving a flagrant technical foul is a bench technical foul, and the coach would receive an indirect in that situation. We did not sit the coaches until the game had started and had played for a couple of minutes. We just did not cross all the T's and dot all the I's. It's relatively easy once you say, okay, here's what we have. We've got this, and adjudicate. But assembling all of that information and then communicating all of that information and then procedurally having everything sorted out, there's challenges, especially when there's information continues to bombard you as the officials. No. They left the bench. Right? And so, So in the end, we got out alive. But that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. But we were going to continue the game. There was nothing that prevented us from continuing the game. Yeah. I had a former assigner who said he carries in his pocket a little notepad and a pencil, and so he wants to be able to write stuff down when things go off. At the collegiate level, oftentimes we will ask our timer or our scorekeeper to keep a tally, so that when there's a technical foul, can you please note the time, etc., because I'm going to need this information for the game report. Yes, video and I do not currently have video. I'm not avoiding it. This is not an NFHS network school. I have asked the person that I submitted my game report to if they get video to provide it to me, but I do not have it. The assistant coach was not disqualified. Since he was an adult, he was ejected from the gymnasium. Yeah. Dr. Phil is here to clean up. So that's my situation. Lessons learned. I've never had that much of a fight situation occur in my game. I've just never had it. I've had situations that are much cleaner. Somebody throws a punch and things immediately settle down, right? But we had, and like I say, administrators and fans coming onto the court from behind. We had players leaving the bench, etc. There's a lot of energy on the floor, and the game administrators did a great job of getting everybody back off of the court, etc. So, but it's still, there is chaos, and you lose touch with, you can't have everything, right? So that's why I regret not getting from my third official what they had, right? They were just sort of like willing to, you guys seem to be sorting it all out, right? But yeah, I'm going to start doing that. With like one of those super slim pencils, or just a pen where you like take out you take out the little cartridge. But a pen is risky, man. That's risky. Yeah, the leaking pen in your pants, not a good thing. So. Riot pad. Excellent, Ed. I'm going to refer to that going forward. But today we've got some hard foul fight scenarios. We have a fight scenario at the end, and a bonus play as well. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I want to go here, here, here. And that, of course, is the inevitable situation, is the going through the wash, right? So I can't. I have a Mi Band fitness band tracker that I keep in my pocket, and invariably I leave it in my pocket. Uh, yeah, it's a thing. All right. Okay. Yeah, my wife asked me at any point did I feel like there was any like there was a safety concern for the officials, and I did not. I did not. I thought the game administrators did a fantastic job of really quelling the situation quickly and effectively, and I appreciate that. The chaos was just in a number of things occurring from different directions, not in the sort of the sense of potential violence related to the game. Now, there was a lot of recrimination. Is that the right word? Where both head coaches think, you have not done something properly that allowed this to happen. And in retrospect, our trouble player who inevitably, it's kind of like seeing a kid out of the corner of your eye over by the field there, and they're playing with matches. That needs our attention. So it had our attention, but it led to a situation where we had no control. I mean, I could have jumped on the four players, but once they were on the floor, yeah, whistles did not help. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I thought out of the corner of my eye, I thought, Mike, you were, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. I thought that's what you said. All right. Okay, let's go. All right, league season is in effect. Tensions rise. Things happen on the court. We're going to look at plays today that can help us through in those situations. How many plays? 5 plays. Let's go. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to 5 Play Friday. We're looking at play scenarios today. Let's do it without delay. You make the call play. What do you have on this very first play? All right, dead ball contact, kicking an opponent. What do you have on this play? This is a technical foul. Is it an intentional technical foul? Is it a flagrant technical foul? You make your ruling. Put it in the comments below. And we'll review the play, so stick around to the end of the video. We'll review the play at the end. Why is that doing that? Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on. Oh. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it one more time. Let's look at play number 1. All right, dead ball contact. Is this an intentional technical foul? Is this a flagrant technical foul? Put your ruling down in the comments below. Is this just simply an intentional technical, or is this a flagrant act? Make your ruling, and we'll review the play. So stick around till the end of the video where we review play number 1. But with that, we're moving on now to play number 2. All right, so excellent start to our scenario here, right? So we have a it's ruled a hand check foul by the defender. The fouled player, knowing they're near the sidelines, jumps up into the air, throws the ball off the opponent in a dead ball situation. The officials assess a player technical foul for that. Certainly, oftentimes your game is going to dictate whether this was an action, right? The habitual action of the player who's potentially going out of bounds is, hey, I'm going out of bounds, I want to throw it off my opponent, right? But the whistle caused the ball to become dead. The officials need to make a judgment in this situation about whether to penalize that action. And in this instance, they assess a player technical foul, and that's certainly justified in this situation. If the feeling was that the intent was to harm, like throw it on at the player's face while they're on the floor or what have you, a flagrant can be brought into the game as well. But in this situation, the officials simply assess a dead ball technical foul, and I agree, 100%. Certainly an option in this scenario. Our crew is very effective in their communication. Hey, you report, then I'll report. We move in the other direction. Our trail official a little confused about what's going to happen next. But this is sort of a meat and potatoes technical foul situation. We know we have a foul. We know we have a subsequent technical. Assuming we're not in the bonus or approaching the bonus, then we can simply handle things, sort of business as normal, without a lot of crew communication. Does this rise to the level of, no, we need to send the teams to their benches, figure out exactly what we're going to do, etc.? Again, assuming that we're not in the bonus. Of course, if we were in the bonus, then we would need to do things in the order of occurrence. Yeah. Well handled by our crew in this situation. That's the wrong thing. Oh, nah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, it's going to be a habitual action, Greg. Right? Right. I'm airborne going out of bounds. My first thought. And players are super skilled at doing it. We appreciate their ability to do that. Throw it off of knees, etc. Billy's going with the T. Yeah. I mean, that's a consideration. Doesn't sound like that was the case here. All right, so Patrick is asking, wait, aren't you on timeout for taunting me about the word? No. If we were in the bonus, we would do things in the order of occurrence. We would clear the lane, the offended player, the player who threw the ball and was assessed a player technical. That player would attempt their merited bonus free throws, and then we would go to the other end and attempt the technical foul free throws, and the ball would be to team B, the white team for division line throw-in opposite the table. If, of course, that was the player who threw the ball their fifth foul and merited free throws were due, their substitute would attempt those free throws, and the same thing would occur. But really good job by our officials on this play. They have it under control, right? Again, a little confusion by our trail, thinking, oh, we're going to go have a sideline throw in. Chad, I think. No, deadbolt technicals. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah. Order of occurrence. Order of occurrence is what we want. Okay. I want to go here. Hey, appreciate you joining us for 5 Play Friday. This is a show where we try to analyze game videos so that we can get better as basketball officials. Looking at all the things, thinking things through on video, seeing habits and fundamentals that we can avoid or adopt so that we can have a more successful game. Let's move on to our next play. All right, fast break, hard foul. Now, first of all, this court, come on now. That pillar, what? Oh my gosh, that is a dangerous situation. You could put padding on that thing, but that is a dangerous situation. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's edges on that pillar. It's like, wow. Yeah, so we've got a breakaway. New lead, doesn't pull up, tries to maintain the open look. Hard foul, player goes to the floor. Did the ball go in? Does the lead know? Right? Want to close down on that situation quickly. Crew communication about what do you have on this play. And, of course, did the ball go in? If I'm the center official here, hey, the ball went in. The ball went in, right? And does this rise to the level of an intentional foul? Does it meet the criteria? Does it fit the game, etc.? In this instance, the official said no. This was just to be a rule that a shooting foul in this instance, and did not rise. You could say it was fairly reckless activity by our defender. Really had no chance to block, kind of threw their hips into the airborne player. Do we consider that the danger posed by the court, is that a factor in our decision making on a play like this? I can say it certainly comes into play when we're dealing with tight end lines and hard fouls that cause players to hit the wall hard. I'd say that's certainly going to flavor our decision making in these situations. Lee does a great job of closing down opposing players. Everybody, here's your shoe, bro. Oh, I missed the shoe. Ay. When does the shoe come off? Oh, got stepped on. Depending on so it looks like we're just starting the third period. There's no fouls in the period, right? Depending on the temperature of the game, what plays have we had previously are going to influence our decision here as well. But crew comes together, communicate. That ball went in, partner, right? So the lead can go report. Common foul is the ruling, and that was well officiated by our crew. Tony, we've all worked at tight gyms, but that pillar being right there, oh my gosh. Now, I'm sure that the local officials all have stories. There was a gym here in the Oakland area, Bishop O'Dowd, that had sort of things that stuck out on one end line, and you're moving quickly in rotation, and your shoulder catches one of those things. Like wow. So I'm sure there's rotation stories where officials forgot the pillar was there and was moving quickly to the across, got taken out. Ay. Yeah, I've seen some video, Jason. It's not the proximity; it's the shape, let's say, of the wall, and the fact that it has edges. As a result, like a player hits the padding straight on, right? That's going to hurt, but that's one thing. You hit that edge, the padding's not going to be the same thing on the edge. Makes me very nervous when situations are like that. Sometimes the stands have sharp edges. Nervous. Common foul. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm there. Tony, White got the worst of it? I don't know. I don't know about that. Red hits the abutment, or whatever you call that thing, face first, right? I mean, I don't know. You could have if you come in as center official and say, no play on the ball, reckless. Is this reckless defense on behalf of this player in a situation where it puts a player at risk, airborne player? Yeah, at least he didn't throw it at him. But again, the game, the game itself, no fouls in the third period, may have been very tame, etc. All right. Everybody's comfortable with a common foul. Interesting. Warren, prescient Warren, weren't you prescient last week? We actually, that's going to be a bonus play. That's going to be a bonus play. Fight scenario. Huh. Well, we can have. I'm not sure what you mean, Billy. So we can have a hard foul. There, it was a hard foul. The contact was hard, right? Does that mean it's an intentional foul? No, not necessarily. I don't know that I share that opinion, Todd. I mean, in terms of, it makes complete sense in principle, but in practical terms, assessing whether actions of a player put another player at risk, I think is a factor in my decision making. That's me. Yeah, Chris, did you know the ball went in? It looked like you were focused on the players. In that situation, I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting to see whether the ball went in because I know my crew is going to have my back, right? I want to get to those players and make judgments there and make sure everybody's coming in with the right energy. Yes, yeah, undefeated. That wall is extremely undefeated. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's a factor in our decision making. There's no wind up. There's just sort of a reckless action in my mind by the defender that gives me pause. All right, Zooch says, "Let's like it up." Okay, Sue in the house. She's going intentional. You got my back, Sue. Ah, excellent. Gabe Lopez is in the house. The defender took the worst of the contact from the wall. I do not see that. The defender didn't hit the wall. Our shooter went face first into the wall. What are we seeing here on this play? He gets the citizenship award, Paul. Good to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Now, Paul Sullivan, a great partner. Excellent. Good to see you, Paul. Warren, do you think it's imperative you get to the players, get to the spot? Yes, because the offended player may step up and immediately be angered and have a retaliatory action. If we can get in that situation and prevent that, we want to ensure that the players coming in are going to the right players. If one of these red players instead went to the and did some action on our fouling player, we want to be there to potentially prevent that as well. No, Todd, there is no rules reference. Okay. what do I do here? Position. Hold on a second. 3. Let me press this button and see what happens. Now my comments thing is working. So if I press this, okay, that works. All right, let's move on to our next play. All right, a great play for review. A lot of things to look at here on this play. Let's start with the beginning, right? So we have red 11. Pass to the wing, player drives. That player is tripped. That is illegal contact. Our lead puts a whistle on the play. We've got the lead and trail moving. Is our center engaged in this situation? Got a lot of great athletes on the floor. This looks like a high-level game. Want to be really connected here. That is a tripping action, right? We have a teammate of the fouling player steps over another player. In many instances, this leads to retaliatory action, right? We need to be aware of these things occurring. In this instance, he was just sort of at his feet. Right? I do not like our engagement by the center here. When our other officials are moving, we've got to be super engaged. A great technique would be to ensure as center you step into the arc at minimum, right? And stay engaged. We have an agreement, right? As a crew, we have an agreement, right? In 2-person and in 3-person. In a situation where in 2-person, I'm the calling official and I'm going to report. Here's our agreement, right? We're both responsible for watching the players. But I tell you what, I need to take a little time out from that responsibility and go report. So you have to watch players for me. You have to take that responsibility completely. In a 3-person game, a call by the lead, the trail and the lead are moving, right? As trail to new lead, we'd want habits that open us up to observe players. But our center official has to recognize when the other 2 officials are moving, we have got to be super engaged and aware of what's going on, because they are going to be, our reporting official is going to be out of the equation potentially, and our other official who's moving will be less able, right? So we need to be super engaged. So on this play, we've got the foul. Our defender does not feel like he fouled. He says, he tripped. He tripped on my foot. I didn't trip him, right? And we've got this action here. What led up to it? What did we not see? This bump right here by red 11, right? We did not observe that as a crew. Oftentimes what we see is the retaliatory action. We see the retaliatory action. We are going to assess a penalty related to what we see, right? But sometimes we miss the thing that led to the retaliatory action. I would assume these players have had some energy between them throughout the game. That would just be an expectation based on this scenario, right? So takeaways here. we have to be engaged as the non-calling official and the non-moving official here, and be aware of what is occurring in this dead ball situation, right? The old adage, when the ball is dead, we become live, etc. This is where it comes, the rubber meets the road. This is where we have to be good. And when we are good, right, if we could see this first bump and either address it or assess a penalty to it, right? When red 11 here, right, we got clapping, this bump here, that's obviously an intentional action, right? If we come in and address that immediately, then, potentially we avoid, etc. So that would be a takeaway for me on this play. When the ball is dead, we become alive, but seeing it in practice, right? In situations where we have potentially missed something, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen in your game. We can't always see everything, but if we develop a sense of understanding, what is my role in this situation right now? What is my role? My part, one official is going to go report, one official is going to move to administer the foul, and what's my role? Am I just like, right? Find things to officiate and be really good in dead ball situations, and the game will appreciate it. That's what he would say about that. A date the bow. See, now I could just go back in the comments to hear. Yeah. Right. We often use the term, Billy's suggesting we can't say in a shooting foul situation that it's a common foul. I guess what we're all trying to say and what we're trying to communicate is it does not rise to intentional or flagrant. Chippy game, gotta love the passion. Yes. We appreciate energy in the game. We appreciate competitive energy in the game. Sometimes that competitive energy, starts rising to the level of, hey, we're going to need to potentially address this. We've got communication between players. I love a game where we've got a player A and player B opponents who are going at it, super competitive in the game, right? Obviously doing it within the boundaries of the rules, but it's fantastic energy to our game. It's a fantastic part of the game of basketball. Competitive action by players competing for the ball, right? Showing desire and hustle and all the things. So I appreciate players being competitive, but obviously there's a line that can't be crossed. We will not be addressing multiple fouls. Patrick Weaver says, red driving player tripped on himself. Real time, never would have seen that. We could see that he tripped. Yes? Patrick, listen to me. Tripped players are fouled 95% of the time. If we see a player trip and we put a foul on their opponent, we'll be right 95% of the time. You can take that to the bank. This player trips on the defender's foot. That is what happens on this play. We can see that. When can we see that? Oh, where's my thingy? We'll go here. Almost got it. That his left foot hits the defender's left foot. You see the stumbling action that's caused as a result, and you can say the defender was legal. He was straight up and down, right? A defender may not extend a leg into the path of the opponent. This leg was in the path of the opponent. That is a foul. If we put a foul in tripped players, we will be excellent. Excellent. Ed, you could go tease both ways. If we get the retaliatory action, we can come back and get the tee on the original player. Red 11, we could do that. But we have to be aware of it going on, right? Do we fault the new lead for assessing a technical foul in this situation, right? Sometimes I have missed something that led to this. I know I missed this, but I see this, and this has to be penalized. Jason, you have to get your priorities straight. Work. Oh, reminds me. Let me check something. Okay. Oh. Yeah, and this is an easy thing, Kevin, that we can analyze in our own game video, right? What am I doing in dead ball situations? Am I looking up at the scoreboard when there's sort of a moment here where there's tension related to players on the floor. We see the player doing the step over, etc. We've got some, the energy's there, and then it's going to break, and players are going to start moving to where they should be for the resulting action. In this instance, it was a shooting foul. So, then there's a release of energy. So in that moment of tension, we've got to be super engaged, right? Super engaged. Things are okay. Now I can check the clock. I can check the team fouls, possession arrow, etc., and what have you. That would be my counsel there. It's like super engaged in the moment, and then the game will tell us, okay, we can not stop officiating, but just relax our focus somewhat and take in other things. I agree, Billy, that can't be ignored. Sue, that is not mine. That is not mine. Believe you me. Is anything mine? No. Wait a minute. Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, I had the prone player on the floor, offensive player grabs the rebound, trips over that player. Billy's citing a play here where a player falls to the floor and the opponent trips over them. I don't think that applies in this situation, but I did have that, and I did rule a foul. In spite of the fact that the player on the floor did not make an effort to trip. But my offended player's team was down 6 under a minute, and I was going to put a whistle on that play. Have I committed a crime? Billy, let me know. Yeah. You cannot, Patrick, you cannot go wrong assessing a foul on a defender when an offensive player is tripped. Sometimes, right? So remember in the playoffs last year, Gary Payton, I'm sure you saw it. Gary Payton was tripped. Players are running like this. Their feet are moving like this. And if a defender contacts the rear leg and causes it to move, then the offensive player's leg, they trip themselves. They literally trip themselves. But the illegal contact was causing the rear leg to swing, causing that action. And that's illegal. So you can find that clip, Gary Payton being tripped in the finals last year. Patrick, let's see. And just to recall, who won that series? Yeah. You know, when I say things like this about the sea, I can recall situations where I am the center. I step. I am my. I'm seeing things, but I'm not seeing things. Sometimes there's an illegal action that occurs right in front of you in the area you're looking because you're not really seeing what occurs. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean we're going to always be successful, but if we build habits and fundamentals, step in here to the 3-point arc, and once we start moving away, right, we're already telling our brain, hey, we can relax for a moment, right? Step towards the action, observe the players, right? Observe all the players. Is everybody any retaliatory action, right? That step over by the player, if we catch that and we see the player on the floor, reach up and push his leg, right? We are aware of what has occurred. All right, Laker fan, excellent. Billy, that is true. There is a difference between being tripped and tripping. That is true. High school, it's a block. I will always add a point to the toe because that's just me. I'm not addressing multiple fouls. I didn't see your question, Mike, but right. And we can look at the calling official here. Once their partner assesses a tee, do we need to get together, or do we continue to report? I would stop, right, and confer. This is quick and easy action. Again, just like our throwing the ball off the player earlier. Doesn't need a huge discussion, but what are we going to do? We're going to clear the lane. Is there any energy at the end of this play displayed that suggests we are going to do that? None of the officials seems to be, sort of anticipating that action, especially our center. Yeah. Kevin, that's a good assessment. We see it, right? Is it a reminder to us as center to stay engaged? I think it is. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, we're moving on. Let's look at our next play. All right. Well, all right. So a fight scenario, I can certainly appreciate this and the confusion that can reign. We can look at all of the things. We have the advantage of looking at all of the things and analyzing how things should be done correctly. In this instance, our crew awards 2 free throws to White, followed by 4 free throws to the visitors, and resume with a division line throw-in for the visitors. It appears that 3 players were disqualified from the game based on the fact that subsequently they did not appear in the game, from what I viewed. So I think that is the correct assessment of the disqualifications. But let's take a look at the play scenario itself and analyze all of the things. And what are we looking for? All right, mistakes made, but habits and fundamentals that can potentially help us from making mistakes. Okay, so in this instance, let's go here. Player goes to the basket, rebound, a veritable mugging and throw to the floor, a punch thrown by the offended player. White 0 takes an action on that player who threw the punch. Seems like maybe more than the players were in the huddle, in the scrum there. A couple of players leave the bench for the visitors. It goes unofficiated in this instance. What do we have? What would be our proper adjudication on this play if we're looking at all of the things? Let's go. All right. Do we have a foul here and then a subsequent technical foul for the throw to the floor? Or is this simply a flagrant action of throwing the opponent to the floor? Is that the foul? Right? That was, we could have a foul first and then something during dead ball. But let's say, is this action rise to the level of a common foul, an intentional foul, or a flagrant foul? In my judgment, this would be a flagrant foul. Is this a fighting action? Right? And does the subsequent reaction by the player cause our original foul to rise to the level of fighting? These are questions we have to answer on a play like this. Right? So we have a situation where our offended player gets up, throws a punch. Right? That's evidenced here. That is definitely a fighting action. Now they were, their teammate was trying to, prevent them from getting back to him, and actually caused him, energy that caused him to miss. Fortunately for us here, and then subsequently, White 0 takes some action there on the player who threw the punch. Okay, so we have fouls by White 42, Black 1, White 0. And then we have players off the bench that's unperceived, that's not perceived by the crew. Well, why would we not perceive by the crew, right? So we have a fight situation that occurs in our game. Let's look at the movement of the officials, right? Our center officials in great position. They see, they detect it going on, etc. And then we have the lead. Trail, or actually new lead in this scenario, near the division line, comes in. What we have to do is recognize when, right, we're all moths to the flame, but somebody has to be aware of actions. Now, we've got great action by the assistant coach for White. Right? That's what we love to see from assistant coaches is everybody stay put, right? And that prevents situations, but we've got two players or two teammates from the visitors who come off the bench. Those players should be disqualified with player technical fouls. As a result, what would be the correct adjudication in this situation? If we had a flagrant foul by White, a fighting flagrant technical foul by Black, a retaliatory technical foul, the player seems to be disqualified from it. So let's say that that was considered to be fighting as well right there. What would be the correct adjudication in this situation? And then we've got players coming off of the bench, right? So this presents a messy situation, but one that we're going to have to sort out. What's the information we have, right? So we have the offended player was flagrantly fouled. There are merited free throws that result from that. After that, we've got a fighting action by black 1, and then we have a fighting action by white 0. Those players would be disqualified by rule, but what would be the correct adjudication? How would we handle this? And did our crew get this right? Right? So we're going to have to try to sort things out. If we had simply a flagrant technical foul by white 42, then black has 2 merited free throws as a result. If we have fighting by black 1 and white 0, those would offset, and we would have no free throws related to that activity. We should have 2 flagrant technical fouls assessed to the bench personnel, but the penalty for that would mean only 2 free throws for white. We had nobody leaving the bench for white, right? So we would have 2 free throws as a result of that. The head coach would receive an indirect technical foul as a result of that. And we would do things in the order of occurrence. Black 0's substitute should attempt their 2 free throws. Somebody from white should attempt the 2 free throws related to the bench technicals. And white should have the ball for a division line throw-in. This is not going to be an easy thing to do. I can tell you from personal experience, not going to be an easy thing to do to sort things out and adjudicate in this situation. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of potentially confusion. But if we could just analyze what we have to do things in the order of occurrence at the National Federation of High School Basketball level. And we're obviously going to do the best that we can, right? We're going to have to be very clear with our scorer exactly what we have. And, you know, the game in this instance can proceed so effectively. So fight scenarios in our game are never easy, present a lot of challenges, habits and fundamentals. If we can have one official in this instance stay back and observe players coming off the bench, then we have more information. But get together as a crew and sort it to the best of your ability for the game. Yay. What do we have in this? I didn't do my done through here. Oh my So Kevin, you're going, there's a foul, and then there is a technical foul for the flagrant action, throwing the player to the floor. You could certainly consider that fighting if you did. Or is it just one flagrant personal foul? That's sort of the key question on this play. I wouldn't pick nits. I'm going to say we have the first foul. Although the officials did not seem very quick to, our center official comes in here, but it doesn't signal until later. But that's something, I'd say we have one foul and then we have a second foul, the flagrant act. That's what strikes me, because I'm going to have a whistle on that first foul, right? Gabe, intentional on white 42. Yeah, to me, the tackling of a player is not an intentional foul. It is a flagrant foul. Good catch, Steve. And yes, I don't know if that occurred in my game, Mike, but the players seem very content to stay put. Rick, my understanding is that there was a lot in this game that led up to this situation that was not addressed by the officials. A rough play was allowed. I agree with you, Rick. So in that case, we've got a foul, and then we've got a flagrant foul. So we have 2 fouls to start. That's a great question. NFHS video quality. Yeah, strikes. That's the key takeaway for me. We just have to know that occurred. Hey, Brian, good to see you. You know, to be honest, I don't. It's not clear why do we end up with White attempting free throws first in this situation. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, Kevin, the closing down occurred, but we ended up not. We ended up missing things as a result of all 3 officials occurring, converging. Oh. Mike's got flagrant first, so he's going with 1 foul for the tackle, flagrant technical on Black for the punch, flagrant technical on White, 2 flagrants on the bench personnel. I like it. I like it. Kevin Smith, flagrant live ball technical. Kevin, we can't have a live ball technical related to the contact. You can't have a technical foul related to contact. Well, it's a good scenario, Rick, and fortunately, we can learn things from scenarios. Or do we? Do we learn things? I mean, it's obviously easy after the fact. We look at it in slow motion. We see all of the things. We can criticize the perception of the crew and having habits and behaviors and missing things and what have you. But when it occurs in your game and the chaos ensues, our first reaction is, slow down the chaos. We run to the play. And yes, Thomas, yes, I had some of this. Right. First foul is, so that would be a personal foul. If we ruled the tackle to be a single foul and not a foul and then a throwdown. Joe's asking about officials putting hands on players here. Right, that's a factor, right? If we come in and we're holding White Zero's arms down and somebody else has a retaliatory action against him, right? That puts us in a position of liability. We always recommend just put your body between the players. What occurs during rebounding? Boxing out, box out. It's a neutral way to separate players without hands or holding or pushing. We push a player back. There's a player on the floor. They fall, hit their head, etc. So habitually trying not to put hands on players. Sometimes, like in transition, we're pinched on the end line. We have to put a hand out on a player, let them know we're behind them and create space between us, etc. But habitually, no. Oh. But in the end, our crew seems to say, this is how we're going to proceed, and then they execute on that. There's not a lot of after the fact, oh, wait a minute, we didn't consider this, or what have you. They chart a path. I don't believe it's the correct path, but they chart a path and they execute on the path. And you have to appreciate that. It's something you want to do in this situation. I agree with that, Kevin. I agree with that. But then that first foul, I am not going to miss that. Right in this game where there's seems to be this energy between the teams, we want to get that quick. Yeah, the problem is you got to remember high school, right? High school. Freshman girls in Florida, varsity boys in Alaska, right? Small gym, JV, technology, equipment, budgets, etc. It's a very, 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 very diverse set of circumstances. It's not like the NBA or NCAA Division I, where like we can have this technology and we will have this technology by rule. So, yes, we are so excellent. We'd have to factor that into our decision making. Edward Harris in the house. Good to see you, Edward. Agreed, Billy. Rick, by high school rules, by state adoption, technology for last second shots in state finals can be used. I believe that is the restriction. In California, we do not have that, even at the state tournament level. We do not have that option. And it's only by state adoption and only for a last second shot, and only, I believe, in state playoff games. I believe that is the restriction by rule. Oh, I'm tempted to look. Okay. All right. To start the show, we had a play for a You Make the Call. What did you have on this play? Let's break it down and see what we have on play number 1.
DJ Johnson.
All right, a technical foul is ruled. There has been dead ball contact, but what kind of technical foul would we assess in this situation? Is this simply an intentional technical foul, or is this a flagrant technical foul? If we look at the rule for flagrant foul, a flagrant foul may be a personal or technical foul of a violent or excessive nature, or a technical non-contact foul which displays unacceptable contact. It may or may not be intentional. If personal, during live ball, it involves but is not limited to violent contact such as striking, kicking, and kneeing. If technical, it involves dead ball contact or non-contact conduct at any time which is extreme or persistent, vulgar, or abusive conduct. Fighting is a flagrant act. Kicking an opponent, our rule describes that during live ball, it's flagrant. during dead ball, I would consider it to be flagrant as well. And you could say, all this, he didn't mean to. It's just like he was just trying to get the player off of him. Kicking an opponent is, in my judgment, a flagrant action. I would have a flagrant technical foul in this situation, and we would disqualify that player. Any player or eligible substitute could attempt those free throws. That would be my judgment, right? That the kicking action, while our rule describes kicking during live ball, I would say it applies then, therefore, to dead ball situation as well. A flagrant act. What did you have on your ruling on play number 1? It's a good play to see in the wild. So help me out. If there's a if we like on the previous play, if we have a flagrant foul, let's say your ruling was we have a flagrant foul for the live ball contact, and the player gets up and throws a punch, is the flagrant foul then deemed to be fighting by rule? We know that if a technical foul leads to fighting, that could be the case. But if the hard foul leads to fighting, would that be the case, even if the foul is flagrant? I'm not clear about that. Kevin is disqualifying our player due to a flagrant technical foul. Flagrant. And you considering that fighting? That would be, we have to make a determination about whether this is fighting, because there's going to be penalties well, I would assume that at the association level there would be different penalties for fighting versus simply a flagrant action, although that may not be the case. I may be making an assumption there. Good get, Thomas. His substitute would. Agreed. Well, of all the kicks, it is one of the least offensive, right? I mean, it's not like a player is down and you kick them in the head, right, with a swinging of the leg, sort of the get off me action. Who, me? Gabe's asking, is the shooter still entitled to his free throws? Not if we do it right. So they are disqualified once they are, assuming that's what happened in this situation, right? If we disqualify a player, they cannot further participate in the game, even if they are due merited free throws. So if they were due merited free throws, their substitute would attempt those free throws with the lane cleared, and then their opponent would shoot the technical foul free throws and then be awarded a division line throw-in opposite the table. I like that. Oh, thanks, Greg. Yeah, right. So 2 games for, I assume, a flagrant disqualification due to a single flagrant, as opposed to just a simple, or 2 technicals. Player gets 2 technicals. It would be 2 games and 4 games for fighting. Yeah, so we need to make that assessment that this is a fighting action because of subsequent penalties. All right. There doesn't seem to be much debate about this one. I don't know what our officials did in this situation. It does not appear they were going with flagrant from the clip. So there's that. All right, let me see what I got here. Hold on. Let me go here. I got technology, baby. Right. All right. After a series of hard fouls, fighting in our game, what do we need? We need a palate cleanser. Let's take a look at a bonus play.
Controls the ball, sneaks under the defense, and does does some nice gymnastics move. Oh my goodness, I've never seen that in a basketball game before. Oh my gosh.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. The things you see when you're out on the court, right? If you're considering getting into officiating, get into officiating. It's so much fun. There's so many fun things that happen, the environment, etc., players succeeding, failing, excitement, drama, and wild and wacky things that can occur in our game. And we appreciate those when they do. Thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. Much appreciated. If you would do me a favor, hit the like button immediately and directly. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you also subscribe and notify, you'll not miss out. We live stream 2 times a week, every Wednesday and Friday during the basketball season. So we'll see you there on the live stream. And I'm going to go there. I'm going to do some after the fact editing. Yeah, exactly. Now, if somebody in the stands had a card and held it up, well, one thing we like to say, Brian, is players execute moves, right? And they, like, let's say they execute a step-through move or something, and did they quite nail the footwork 100%? Was there a slight movement of a pivot foot? Do we need to be a 10.0 in our execution of moves in order to be considered legal? Is a 9.5 good enough? And obviously that's going to be affected by the level of play, etc. But that was excellent. Excellent move on her part. And is your first reaction like mine, like to immediately reach for my back? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My body doesn't work like that. Yeah, are we going with a T? Oh, if your partner came with a T, are you going to intercept them at the table before they get to the table? Oh, we're not done for the live streamers. We are not done at all. How about another bonus play? Let's go. We don't have the best view on this play, but it's pretty clear that our white player pushed their opponent into the bench, right? So Todd, this would be a situation where, the proximity to a dangerous environment, is that a factor in our decision making here as well? At minimum, this is an intentional foul in my mind. Our lead puts a whistle on the play. They get together and confer. Again, what's the temperature of the game? What has occurred in the game? If we upgrade this play to intentional, does our game get better as a result? To me, this is obvious. And so we like to say that there's basically there's two situations. One is a hard foul has occurred. We put a whistle on the play. We get together potentially to discuss whether to upgrade this hard foul, common foul, shooting foul to an intentional foul. Or we could also have a situation where we have an obvious, at minimum, intentional foul, and let's get together and talk about whether we go to flagrant foul, right? So that's what we could have in a play like this. If we look at the rule for intentional foul, the definition of an intentional foul, an intentional foul is personal or technical foul that may or may not be premeditated and is not solely based on the severity of the act. It includes, but not limited to, contact that is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball. Players played specifically to design to stop the clock or keep it from starting, right? This is obviously not a play for the ball. This is obviously not a basketball play. And this is, in my judgment, excessive contact, right? When a player's in this, and you could say, well, they're in a vulnerable position, and so it didn't take much contact to lead to the reaction. But to me, we're getting together here to discuss whether we are going intentional or flagrant. That common foul is not on the table. And yes, I did say hard foul, right? I mean, if you have a foul that is in the realm of potentially being intentional, right, it would be because of excessive contact. So if we are adjacent to excessive contact, we are at hard contact. Yeah, exactly. He tells us, yeah, I did that, and I'm going to do it again. Mike's going flagrant. Rick's going intentional. Obviously, we don't have the best angle. We don't get to see the intensity of the push. Is that a factor? Right? Kevin's going intentional. It's on the spectrum, exactly. The mild, hard, excessive. C didn't look like he was having anything to do with it. Maybe he was going to get the ball. Huh. I don't know. Or he had a date. Intentional. All right. Yes. We again, just like the somersault, I appreciate the hair in the game, man. I really do. There's some wild hair. We appreciate this guy's definitely got it going on. Of course, players utilize their hair to their advantage. Our embellishing players love to give us the head wiggle, anytime there's any contact and causing their hair to amplify the movement. Yeah, we don't do a good job of separating the players in this instance, but again, a lot of times that's going to be flavored by the energy in the game. What we wouldn't want is any retaliatory action by our player on the floor, right? So he stays down. We never really see, I guess, or do we? Let's take a look. Teammates go to him. But then he's allowed unsupervised to be in the area of the player who fouled him, right? As we saw in the previous clip, right? That initial action can lead to retaliatory action. Of course you did, Billy. Of course you did. Cool. All right. fighting in our game. How about another bonus play featuring a fight? The artificial intelligence that controls the camera is fooled by the basketball in this situation. But we've got lots of stuff here on this play. Ultimately, the way it was adjudicated was White shoots. Wait, let's see. I think White ended up with 2 free throws. That's all that came from this situation. We don't know about who was disqualified by rule, etc. But it's a situation. Let's look at all the things. Let's analyze it for what it is. Right? The initial play. Right? So we can criticize our officials. Oh, where were they? They were out of position. You're going to be out of position on this play. Right? The ball's thrown. We expect somebody to catch the ball. Nobody catches the ball. We're all caught flat-footed. Our center was actually moving in the opposite direction, right? We're going to have to get on our horse to officiate this play. We've got contact on a shooter here. In my judgment, that is at minimum intentional. Again, a wall is struck. That player is hurt. That player is hurt, possibly concussed. We've got players coming in. We've got players off of the bench, and we need to know all of the things. We get support from adults. Adults are on the court helping us with the situation. We've got one player who is extremely upset and is taken to the bench area. What do we have? How would we adjudicate this play? All right. Black 10, blue 10, let's call them black, is due free throws as a result of that live ball contact. I don't think there was a whistle on the play. I think play was being stopped without a whistle. I don't think a foul was ruled on this play. Subsequently, our new lead puts up a hand, blowing the play dead. White throws the basketball at the opponent in a dead ball situation. Blue 4 comes off of the bench to go after that player. We've got multiple players, I think 3 or 4 players off of the bench in this scenario. Messy business. But I think a key takeaway is that there was no whistle on the original play. So there's no foul in that situation. And we have White throwing the basketball at an opponent. We've got players off of the bench. What do you have in this messy situation? Woo! Woo! Billy Mack is killing it today. I don't know how we don't have a whistle on that first. I just don't know. Even if you put a hand on the ball, that is excessive contact. Yeah, Kevin, we get deceived. The video is deceptive, but let's see ultimately how it's ruled. Yeah, we have white shoot 2 and a division line throw in. So we have, I don't know if we have offsetting related to the throwing of the basketball. Hard to, trips, throw the ball, retaliatory action. I don't see one. I see blue 4 coming off the bench. So, in my judgment, we should have had a whistle on the first play, obviously, but we didn't. In the absence of that, and we just have a stoppage of play, we've got White throwing the basketball at an opponent in a certain fashion. Is that an intentional technical foul or a flagrant technical foul? In my judgment, it's a flagrant technical foul. The ball was thrown with force with the intent to harm out of frustration. And then we've got players off of the bench that, of course, all of those players need to be disqualified by rule. The penalty for that would be, we don't see anybody from the other bench, would be only 2 technical fouls, but each technical foul would be a team foul towards disqualification. That player is not returning to my game. Messy. Kevin, I think everybody's going to be out of position on this play. Every single official would be out. The energy of the play had us all anticipating we're going this way, and then it's going the other way. Does that mean we could have had better position on the play? Obviously. And could we have better urgency on the play? Obviously. But this was a trap for the officials in terms of being in position. That is excellent. North Dublin no call. I believe this is North Carolina. Huh. Right. Yeah, hustle is lacking, but like what I'm saying, and this will happen to you in your game. You're first of all, the center was out of position on the throw-in. I think he was just engaging with the coach. But if you are walking in this direction and this play happens, you're stuck because you have absolutely no ability to change directions in the moment. But of course, this play needs our hustle to get a look at that play. You could certainly get that from center. Yeah. There was no whistle on the play. Mike, so that, well, first of all, is so like in my scenario that I described previous to the plays, is there's this sense of, let's just do that. Let's make things offset so we don't have to do stuff. And like there's more potential for making mistakes if we have to, they're going to shoot and then they're going to shoot, etc. The other factor is in NCAA women's, dead ball, live ball, and dead ball get put into the same bucket, and like fouls do offset. So we had the player technical, and then we had a a flagrant technical by the assistant coach in my scenario. And so all gravity made me want to offset those, even though in high school rules we should not. The pens are coming out on this play. Thomas, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Yep, the game deserves it, Kevin. The game deserves it. Needless to say. All right, so if I am trail to new lead on this play, right? So we had Chris's play earlier where he was beaten and chose to keep going to the end line. And that's a decision we need to make. Right, so we're caught flat-footed here. Where would you... I'd probably... Yeah, maybe that's all we got. Maybe that's all we got on the play. Mike, that was me the other day, man. We have to get those numbers written down. Well, so I'd say the greater concern here, Kevin, is not having a whistle from either the lead or the center on an obvious foul that rose, in my mind, to the level of excessive, and we're discussing flagrant, right? So the willingness, what's missing here is the willingness to put a whistle on this play. You know, if I'm the center and, that's my lead's play, and he didn't put a whistle on it, so we're going to live with that? No, not if it rises to this level. So it's not just the physical movement, but it's the ability, it's the willingness to make a call, even if we're not in ideal position for non-basketball or excessive contact. Right. So, if our center was willing to put, even if they're at the division line, willing to put a whistle on this play, despite our crew being woefully out of position, then we're good to go. Right. So that, I think, is the greater crime in the scenario, because, there's going to be plays where we've gotten beat. And you could say, well, these officials don't have the mobility that's necessary to officiate a game at this level. But obviously their assigner put them on this game. So, all of the variables, availability of other officials, longevity of their career with the association, these are all factors. But in the end, right, even if we're out of position, we have to be willing to put whistles on plays that need whistles. Agree. I agree, Thomas. I agree that is the key. Even if we're out of position, willingness to put a whistle on a play. Right? And so for the officials who have limited mobility, there is a place for them in the game, right? We could still officiate the game and add value to the game despite our limited mobility. We'd never like being in a situation where this game needs better than me, right? And recognizing that this game needs better than me, but I'm on this game. So what are we going to do? I'm going to officiate the game the best that I can with what I've got, right? That's always going to be what we have in any game we officiate. So yes, Gabe, those would be towards bonus. Yes. And it is one indirect to the coach. And the penalty when players leave the benches is if there's a discrepancy between the two, like blue had 2 players leave and white had 0 players leave, then the penalty is 2 free throws, regardless of whether 10 came off the bench for blue and 0 for white, 5 to 2, 2 to 1, etc. If there's a discrepancy, the penalty would be 2 free throws. If that's the defibrillator, I did in my one of my recent games as part of my pregame with the admin. It was a great environment, packed gym. I'm talking to the cheer coach. I'm talking to the site administrator. Asked him if there was somebody who's managing the student section. Went to the opposing student section, which was pretty minimal. Talked to them, etc. But one thing I asked the site administrator is, do you have the piece of equipment? And do you have somebody who can operate the piece of equipment? I like adding that. I had a game, Ted, on an NBA floor. I may have described this in a previous episode, but I had a game where it was on an NBA floor. Oh.
It's go time.
Your tech team just wants to insert stuff into your show. Cut it out. I'll take care of that. Ay. Anyway, it was on an NBA floor, right? So a big floor, and both teams' strategy was, hey, we're on this big floor. We're in great shape. We're going to try to outrun the other team. And that was the first period. Both of these teams just absolutely pushing it at a breakneck speed. And the thought crossed my mind, maybe I should just put a whistle in this game for Greg's sake. Yes. Oh, that's the After Hours show, Mike. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am with you, man. I am with you. The struggle is real. All right. Hey, we are 2 hours and 1 minute in. I am going to wrap this show up. I'm going to let everybody get on with their day, which means, of course, I need to get on with my day. A busy day ahead. I've got a game tonight. I hope everybody's games go well for them, and that we keep it safe and fair, and that none of these things, of course, that happen in our game. But again, seeing these situations occur forces us to have an awareness of what we should be penalizing, how we need to penalize them. We have a huge advantage of seeing it over and over again, of seeing it on replay, slow motion, etc. We can think things through. We're not affected by the energy in the gym, which puts pressure on us in the moment to come up with the correct rulings. Our officials in this scenario, they do a great job of slowing down, sorting things out to the best that they can, and then choosing a path for administration and moving forward. And really, that's all we can do when these situations occur in our game. If we can learn from them here, we're at an advantage. When they occur in our game, we learn lessons. So that we can be better the next time. That's all we can do as officials. A situation occurs. It's new to us. We use whatever tools and knowledge we have to adjudicate the situation, and then we learn from it, right? We learn from it. We learn, what the variables are, what we could do better, and then next time, right? So much of officiating is just getting reps. And I appreciate all the live stream viewers who stick with me as I get reps doing the live stream. Hope you have a great day. Make things happen out on the court. Keep it safe and fair. Remember, it's not about you, ref. Not about you. Have a great one.